In learning any language, one of the things that we have to do is to learn the alphabet. Now, if you will please turn to section 1 in the first part of your grammar. The first part of your grammar being the one with the picture of Jesus on the front. Turn to section 1, and you'll notice that in section 1 we're dealing with a topic called phonology. Phonology comes from two Greek words, actually, phonos and logos. Phonos has to do with sound, and logos has to do with the word or the study of something. So the word phonology means the study of sounds. Now, if you'll turn in section 1 to page 1-2, you'll see the Greek alphabet displayed before you. And it also shows you in the various columns here, not only the Greek letter, but also it is spelled in English, and how the letter is transliterated into English, from Greek to English. Now, transliteration means writing from one language into another language. For example, how does this Greek letter alpha, the first letter in the Greek alphabet, how is it understood or written in English? And what we see there is that it's written with an English. The last two columns on that page, you'll notice that there are two different pronunciations of the Greek letter. One of the columns has to do with the way a modern Greek-speaking person would say the letter. And then the last column is the pronunciation that we use in most Protestant seminaries in the United States. And that's the pronunciation that we'll be using in this course. I would encourage you, however, if you both pronunciations, do it. It would be to your own advantage. And perhaps a little later in the course, we'll learn to pray a prayer using a modern Greek pronunciation. But for the time being, we'll simply use what I call a classroom pronunciation. Okay, the alphabet continues on page 1-3. And if you'll look at the various letters of this alphabet, you'll see that there are arrows with her. And follow the arrows, and they will show you how to draw the letter. Now, you already know the first and the last letter of the alphabet, don't you? Because you know that Jesus is what? He is the Alpha and the Omega. So the first and the last letter of the alphabet, the first letter being Alpha, and the last letter of the alphabet, Omega. The only difference between the Greek and the English is that our last letter is a Z, whereas the last letter in the Greek alphabet is an O. The Z actually in the Greek alphabet occurs pretty close to the front. So you'll find some differences between the Greek alphabet and the English alphabet. But with a little practice, you'll get it very quickly. Now you'll notice that these letters are nice and large on this page, and what I would suggest that you do is to take a piece of tracing paper or paper through which you could see and place it on top of this page and simply trace the letters over and over and over again until you learn to write them. Now what I would like to do is to go over the alphabet with you, and I will be drawing out the letters, and see if you can follow along with me, and if you would like, you could try to write the letter as you watch me write the letter. We'll be referring back to page 1-2 and page 1-3. Okay. The first letter of the Greek alphabet is alpha, and it is going to be pronounced in classroom Greek as an A in the word father, ah. Ah. Okay. Now, as I draw the first letter of the alphabet, the capital Alpha looks just like a capital English. So that's not difficult. The lowercase alpha, however, is made like this. One thing you don't want to do with this letter is to draw it like an English A. Do not do it that way, but rather Just like that. Alpha. The next letter in the alphabet is beta. And a capital beta is just like our capital English B. The lowercase beta starts a little bit below the line, come all the way up to the top, around like that. Watch it again. Lowercase beta. Now, the beta is equivalent to an English B, and we will give it the same pronunciation as an English B, b, as in baby. The next letter of the alphabet is a gamma. Now, some of you who may have been in fraternities or sororities, you perhaps pronounced it gamma, but I don't want you to pronounce it that way. Pronounce it as gamma. And a capital gamma looks just like that. A little strange for us, huh? Now the lowercase gamma looks somewhat like our Y. Sometimes you'll see a curlicue or open space here, and sometimes you won't. Either way, it's okay. This letter is equivalent to our English G and always has a hard pronunciation, as in the first G in the word garage, but never as in the second G in the word garage. We will always pronounce it g, with a hard G sound. The next letter in the alphabet is a delta, and a capital delta looks like a triangle. Some of you who have had mathematics, you'll notice a similarity with these letters, that Greek letters are often used in mathematical formulations. A lowercase delta is made like this. Do not, like you would a small English D, do not do it like that. But rather, start here, around, and up like that. Delta. And a delta is equivalent to an English D, and we will give it the same pronunciation as in the word daddy. Delta. So far now we have alpha, beta, gamma, delta. Alpha, beta, gamma, delta. Alpha is pronounced A, beta is pronounced B, gamma is pronounced G, and delta is pronounced D. The next letter in the Greek alphabet is a short E called an epsilon, and the capital epsilon looks just like a capital E in English. The lowercase epsilon looks like a little backwards 3, or as you see it made on page 1-3, it can be made that way as well. Either way is okay. You know, just as in English we see different type styles for our alphabet and the way our alphabet letters are written, so the same is true in Greek. You certain little variations depending upon a printer's type font. So the lowercase epsilon, I usually make it this way. Either way is okay. And this is equivalent to an English short E, and it will have the pronunciation of as in the word met, epsilon, or as in the word epsilon.